Yeah. Hello, 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 world. This is Shruti Pandey, and today at itishruti, I have found probably a friend in Bas, and I'm so happy that I did. Just a little conversation before this recording. It felt like he's my vibe and my energy kind of a person. So I hope you don't let me down on that. But given all of that and putting a little pressure off of him, and to let you all know about him, he is a seasoned, experienced, and a very senior tester from Netherlands. Almost, I think, more than 2 decades probably. You guys don't put up the real thing on the LinkedIn, right? So I think I can say more than two decades. You legends
It's
have
not,
always stuck in
actually.
it.
No.
So it's great to have testers and hear it out from them how they have survived the technology industry and different transformations that the digital world has done and has done so far, probably to say. And he also started his own venture, which made me like, I'm trying to talk to you kind of a thing for him. So here we are. And thank you so much, Bas, for giving me your time. Really, it means a lot.
Thank you so much for having me, Shruti. And thank you for the very, very pleasant conversation that we had just before we started recording. Um, it's probably good that some parts weren't recorded. It's probably too bad that some parts weren't recorded because there was a yeah, we had a fun conversation.
Yeah,
So
it did.
absolutely, let's try and stick to that vibe and keep it conversational and keep
Right.
it
And not that we
light.
are celebrating, and since you chose the day, happy Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Yes,
My
it's
wife also told me, "Oh, we're not going to celebrate it this year, are we?" No, no, we're not. So, but happy Valentine's Day to you and to everybody's watching. Unless you're watching this not on Valentine's Day, then we'd say
yes.
happy not Valentine's Day. Yes.
I think I felt really happy when you gave this date because of the fact that I love testing. And I mean, I was like, yeah, why not? Let's give this time to something that I love, and it's testing, and we talk about it to a person from another part of the planet, universe, Earth, whatever, and just learn about the journey. It's much more fun to do, right? Best way to
That's a
celebrate
beautiful
it.
thought. Yes, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you gave me some wonderful insights into what it's like to be um, a working person and a working woman in India as well. So I learned lots of stuff already. Unfortunately, that all was off record.
You're too amazing. You're too amazing to say that. But yeah, I too get to understand your side of the world, your privileges and struggles, right? Not everything is a privilege. You're too modest to sometimes say it as a privilege, right? So I appreciate that. I really do. And
Thank you
enough
so
enough
much.
of letting people know that they have missed so much because I'm pretty sure they'll get to know even better things in this
Oh
podcast.
yes, yes. Even if we have to repeat, even if we have to repeat some of the things that we said, no,
Yes, why not?
let's dive into this. Absolutely.
So let's make this podcast all about you. And starting with my first question. So treat all these questions as just a starter point for you to start your
Oh
story.
yes, no, and as we discussed before, and please also feel free to jump in and make this a conversation rather than just an interview, because I think that's much more fun to
Do
watch
you
for
think my
everybody.
kind of a talkative person would just sit quiet?
Oh no, no, no! I'm not. I'm not. I don't know why I even said that. I'm not worried about this. This is going to be good, and this is definitely going to be a two-sided conversation rather than just me talking, which is a good thing.
Okay, so starting off first things first, without making it sound that, oh my God, you're so old, but you have a good amount of experience in testing. It is true, it is a fact. So you have seen the different changes of the landscape, technology, everything. I want to first understand from you what has changed in testing and what hasn't changed much in this landscape, if that's a fair question to ask.
It is a fair point. Well, it's actually more than one question. And what I do like, and again, I sometimes feel old. I don't think I'm that old yet. I don't have 2 decades of experience yet, though. No, I'm did right now 2024. It's I started in 2006, so I'm still young. I'm still dreaming about what I want to be when I grow up. Sometimes, so
Yes,
so
you are.
I think that it's that's a good way of looking at things, even if you're
Yes.
not that young anymore.
Oh,
Um, but what I do like about having been in testing and the software development space in general for a longer time is it gives you the power and the experience to yeah, to put things into perspective. That's the word I was looking for. I sometimes still struggle to find the right proper English word for things, but to put things into perspective.
yeah.
So, if there's one thing I've learned is that everything is changing all of the time,
Yep.
and then lots of things have stayed the same ever since, at least compared to when I started in software testing. So there have been new tools and new techniques and new approaches and new ways of working. And it sometimes feels like it's so much new tool that there's probably going to be a new JavaScript testing framework by the time we end this conversation. And it's a struggle for a lot of people feel, yeah, I should keep up with, oh, first it was Selenium and then it was Cypress and now it's Playwright and then there's AI and there's all these other kinds of tools. Um, yes, things change, but a lot of things stay the same
Yeah.
as well. So um, we are still software testing is still very much a valuable activity. We still do valuable work. Please don't let anybody convince you of something else. Um, Software testing, which by the way is so if there's something I'm trying to more consciously do these days is talk more about software testing, the activity, rather than software testers, the role, because
Yeah.
it is if you talk about roles and the distribution of responsibilities over roles, that has changed so much and it's changing from one team and one company to the next, and you get into all these endless pointless discussions about who should do what.
Correct.
I'd much rather focus on the activity and making sure that we have the knowledge and the experience to do our best work. And I don't really care about what your business card or LinkedIn profile says, really. So, again, lots of things have changed, ways of working. So, we used to do waterfall, and then it was a regional unified process for a while, which I think I still have the certificate somewhere.
Not the digital copies, sorry. The
I'm
hard
sorry.
copies. Not the digital copies. Now we have all PDFs, right?
Yes, no, no, this was very much a hard copy.
Right.
Yes, no, we did paper back in the day,
Yeah.
paper certificates.
Yeah.
And then we had all these different forms of agile.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but still, we still need to do so. Those things have changed, and tools have changed, and approaches have changed. But we still need to do. We still do software development. We
Mhm.
still do so, and whenever we do software development, we need testing. So, and I don't see that going away. The way we do that, and that might change, but the thing is, we still need to do so. We will probably keep doing software development until the end of the earth. And what and whenever we do software development, it's probably also a good idea to do a little bit of software testing. Um, so I don't think that that's going to change really.
Right.
Um, but yeah, that then again, to answer the second part of your question, what has changed? Well, a lot. Tools, technologies, tools have, for example, because, and I'm talking about tools because, well, that's what I've been working with. I'm in what people call test automation for pretty
Yeah.
much my entire testing career.
Right.
Um, the tools itself have, well, changed and not changed at all. Um, they the tools have become so much better, and there's much more a much more diverse range of tools available now, and there's a much, especially in the open source space. Um, if I look back at what was available in 2006, I think the first commits to the Selenium project were from 2006,
Yeah.
but that was still very much in its infancy.
Correct.
Nobody really used it back then.
Right.
And all we used was these big, very expensive, commercially licensed software testing tools.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to name any names, but that's what we had and that's what we used.
All the names
And
came to my head. I'm
yes,
really
there's
thinking,
so
so I
many
got
of
the names in my head.
them,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
most
Yes.
of them don't. Some of them don't. Many of them don't even exist anymore.
Yeah. Bulky
But
and
then,
like such huge license, like so much on the budgeting part. Yes.
what? Which one did you say?
I'm saying that they used to be either bulky, the frameworks, and they were all paid
Oh,
versions.
bulky. Yes. No. Oh, yes. And then you paid for it because they
Yeah.
had all the features.
Yeah.
And now you still have those tools, and there's nothing wrong with those tools per se, but it's um, you typically buy or spend. You probably all you never use all of the features, so but you're still paying for them. And if that's a conscious decision and you're happy with it and the tool does what it's supposed to, then it's absolutely fine. But you've got so much more choice these days. And
Yeah.
there's all kinds of open source libraries that do typically do one thing very well,
Mm.
and which you can then combine with other tools to build the elusive framework. Everybody wants to build a framework. And everybody wants to build their own frame because all of the 10,000 other frameworks out there, they just rubbish.
Yep. Yep.
I've definitely, by the way, I'm not better than anybody else. I've been doing that for so long. But, oh no, I want to build a new framework. Then because all of the other frameworks are not good enough. Again, with time comes perspective, and it's just again lots of the tools and libraries. If somebody says, "Oh no, um, Selenium smells. You should use Playwright," I say, "Well, okay, if that works for you, use Playwright." So they're both fantastic libraries.
Yeah.
They're also completely they're very similar and also completely different. But I don't care what you use as long as it gets the job done.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And in spite of the fact that something started in 2005, 2006 Selenium, it still exists. And many people, many more people still use it.
Absolutely, and it's the people behind the project do
Yep.
so much good work, and it's um, the big difference is that don't want this to be a conversation about Selenium and player versus player. I hate the versus way of framing things anyway.
Right.
Um, but it's Selenium is fantastic at what it does. It just doesn't do some of the other things, and you still need to do that yourself, either through some kind of library or some custom
Right.
code. And as soon as you understand that, it's you'll hopefully stop saying that it's less a worse tool than some of the others. It's just not it's fantastic at what it does.
I mean, the mere fact that it still exists from that long is a
That if
good
it was
thing.
there are no really bad tools out there anymore.
Right.
There
Right.
are no the tools that were really bad they didn't really survive because there's so much competition these
Oh yeah.
days. There's so many the truly horrible tools they have long since died. So you can't really sure, you can go wrong with a certain tool, but that's not because it's a bad tool, but because it's a bad fit for your specific context. And that's what people sometimes tend to forget. And they say, well, no, my tool is better than your tool. Either because you sell that tool or because you're a fanboy or fangirl.
Oh yeah.
Um, it's not like that tool, the other tool is bad. It's just that it might not be a good fit for your specific context. And that's absolutely fine. You
Yeah.
have the choice these days. Back in the days, it was just, well, you had to buy from tool vendor A or tool vendor B, and
Right.
that's it. That was all the choice that you had.
Right. Even if it.
Or build everything from scratch
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. You reminded me of my days of testing back in 2011 and 12. And I know it was still very late compared to all the time that you have mentioned, but like you mentioned correctly, probably, at least in my
It's
case,
only 5 years, Shruti.
some
Only five
yes,
years.
but some things in testing they just don't change, right? Like
Oh
which
no.
thing to get, what not to get. Despite I'm paying for all the license, this is not going to solve all of my problems. Sometimes even that happens, right? While I'm paying for useless features, I mean the features that don't make sense for me, there are also things which are not available. So I think you're absolutely right in saying now we have so much options. I think we have
Oh, we
options for
do. We are
everything.
spoiled for choices, and
Yeah.
that's not always a good thing.
Yep.
Um, but it is it because it also it just promotes a lot of my tool is better than your tool, and I'm going to build. But it is it's in other respects it's very much a good thing because it gives you the opportunity to just select something, build something that's a very close fit for your specific context. But
Right.
that's so important. That context is so important about what am I trying to do with that tool? Who's going to work with the tool? What are we not going to do with that tool? It's all these things that help decide what's the best fit. Yeah.
Right. I'm suddenly becoming a fan of your sarcasm, your humor, and how funny you are. Just let me tell you that out loud.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
For those of you who are listening, I just had a a master class in accepting compliments from Shruti just before we started.
Yes, that thank you is
I'm
priceless. But let
yes,
me move.
we've come a long way since then. Yes.
Yes, yes. But let me move and switch some gears here. I totally, echo your sentiments about everything you mentioned. I'm not sure how good or bad that is for the conversation. Sometimes it's like testers should just keep fighting, and I think
Oh,
that's
please
a pretty
don't.
wrong notion.
Oh, that's sure. We should have. We should be able to have a healthy discussion,
Right.
but there's a thing as there's a thing like wasting too much energy to some conversations and discussions. Um, and I am if there's one thing I've learned comes with perspective, comes with time, is to step back, step out, and just say, well, if that's what you want to think, that's fine. You go your merry way, I'll go my merry way, and
Right.
yes,
Right.
um,
I call them
it.
energy vampires.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to steal that from you.
Do give me some credit though.
I'll try.
Yeah,
No, I would no. It's no, but that's what it is. It is if there's one thing I have learned since and that a lot of it also comes with children and family and other responsibilities and all that stuff is that you only have so much energy, and
Oh, yeah.
you need to be very careful where to spend it, and especially where not to spend it. Yeah.
Right.
It's something everybody has to learn for themselves, and everybody it's different for everybody, but and
Yeah.
I had to learn it as well, and I'm not there yet, but I'm probably doing much better than I was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we all are in the same boat. We all are, I think. And it makes me wonder, was that also a conscious reason or one of your thinking points when you were deciding to start your own venture? I wanted to understand when you decided to, okay, like, let me just take matters in my hands and do something of my own. What made you take that?
So no, that was not really an energy. It was also not necessarily, and that's what a lot of people, at least over here, think about when you start working for yourself. Oh, he just wants to make more money. Um, which is nice. Don't get me wrong. I like money. I like having more of it too.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. Yes. And if they say they don't, that's because they're already really, really rich.
Yeah.
Um,
Either that or they're lying.
yep. Or both.
They're lying.
Um, no, so sure that was a factor in the decision, but that came at a time. So I started my career at a big systems integrator, a big software testing consultancy firm. I spent my first 3 years there, learned a lot of stuff. I'm still talking to some of the people that I used to work with back then. So I ran a workshop yesterday, and one of the participants in the workshop was a fellow who used to work with way back in 2006. It was great fun.
Hmm.
Um, and I spent some time with a smaller consultancy firm, or software testing services provider. It's probably a better way to put it, for 5 years. They were about 25 people, so that was really relatively small. Um, Netherlands small, not India small. That's completely different scale, probably. What for me is a big firm is for you is probably a startup. Or no, that it was like 25 people there, and at some point I wanted to start doing other stuff besides just spending 40 hours a week for a single client. So I wanted to start running workshops, start doing public speaking, start blogging, writing. I'll do all other kinds of stuff. Um, and basically, their answer was, "Oh, that's fine. We'd love for you to do that too, outside of the 40 hours a week that we are going to, because that's what brings in the money for us." And I can't blame them
Right.
for being, because, well, that's their business. That's how they make money.
Right.
Um, Still not totally agree on, in the short term, sure, it'll cost you money, but I think it also, if you actively, and things have changed. So that was in 2014. So that's almost 10 years ago now.
Right.
Things have changed now. There's lots of companies who actually, and especially the smaller ones, who love to have people on board to actually do public speaking and run training courses, because that reflects well on them as well.
Marketing
Um,
is what
it
I call
is marketing,
free
absolutely.
marketing for the company.
Yes. Um, they didn't really see it that way back then.
Yeah.
And then I said,
Some still don't
well,
do even that.
I want to start doing that, so I could find another company where I may or may not have been able to do that. Or I said, well, I could also start some for myself. And it was something that had been in the back of my mind for a while back then. And one of those, one of the things I have to do when I grow up at some point, kind of. No, one of those, I want to have tried it, and um, back then, like the market was so, there was a really demand for testing and technical testers and automation engineers or whatever you want to call it
Right.
was really good over here, which also made it a very safe choice because
Yeah.
if it wouldn't work out, I could always, as my parents would say, go get a real job. Um, I know you can relate to that, Shruti.
Yes, yes, I
So,
can. Yes, I can.
so that is, let me just try it. And so the first couple of years, I still did the 40 hours a week for one client thing, um, just with way better payment, which was nice. And only then did I start to branch because these things take time too. Breaking into a bit of public speaking and blogging and all these things, they take time. Lots of time, actually, lots of consistency and effort um, but it's very rewarding. So everybody should do it and everybody should try it. And um, but then I slowly started out uh, running some workshops at local meetups and conferences and doing some talks and yeah, that has I've kept doing that ever since. And I'm now at a point where I do a bit of consulting. um, I don't really do full-time automation engineering projects anymore. um, so I do some consulting, I do training and workshops and a bit of public speaking and everything. And it's actually um, the thing I've gotten most from is a just meeting so many people from so many different cultures and companies all over the world, really, which is absolutely one of the biggest benefits of what I do these days. Um, and the other big thing for me is freedom. It is there's nobody's really keeping me accountable other than um, my wife and the bank about well, yeah, sure. Bills got to be paid, right? People and the family needs food. Um, but other than that, I'm pretty much free to do what I want, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I know it's a double-edged sword, but still, yeah, it's better for
It's
some.
sometimes it is. It's a big responsibility
Yes, it is.
too. Um, but it's and again, I can't comment for the rest of the world because I've been getting these, yeah, I want to do what you. So I can't really comment about the job market and about opportunities in the rest of the world. But I'm very lucky to live in the Netherlands, where the market is really good and where there's lots of opportunities for individual contributors, for freelancers, for individual contractors.
You're
Um,
making me envious now.
it is, and we can't, and there's lots of companies hiring people from abroad just because they can't find the people here in the Netherlands. Again, we're a very small country, but with a lot of offices from big tech companies, and they are always looking for people,
Right.
and they can't really find them. So you'll see lots of experts from pretty much all over the world come to the Netherlands and come to Western Europe. So I am again very lucky to have been born and grown up and be working here because it made things a lot easier. Absolutely.
Wow, man. So good for you, and so good of you to, present all of these things so humbly. I'm great. I'm actually happy. And I think grateful is also a good word for you to put, right? Like it's good that you're able to now live up to the things that you wanted to do for a long time. And now you're able to
Oh
go.
yeah, it's absolutely, and it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect, but again, the fact that uh, uh, if I look at my calendar for the next couple of months, and the opportunities that are in there, the trips that I get to make, it's just
Worth it.
sometimes I have to pinch myself and say, well, is this really true? Am I really going to and
Wow.
and just the fact that and again and that's sort of kind of the nature of the IT world and the whole internet, the social media, everything that has made the world a lot smaller in that way, which is almost always a good thing. Um, but just the fact that you did that again in these workshops and training courses and talks and webinars and things like this, that you get to meet people and talk to people from all over the world. Really, it's amazing. Absolutely.
So, my final and follow-up question to this was actually somewhere around these lines, that what really keeps you going at, being that independent consultant, and in our parents' eyes, not having a true job or being a freelancer, like what still keeps you going at this? Is it just the
It's
money?
just I'm having so much fun doing what I do. Um,
You.
and I sometimes joke with people when I run training courses. I said, well, I get paid to visit companies, meet people, tell them something, teach them something, and I get to send an invoice afterwards. It's absolutely brilliant.
It's living the life, right?
It is, and again, it's not all days are like that. There's also all of the admin and the back and forth emailing and the waiting before a gig happens, but
Right.
that's just part of it. Really, that's part of the job now, and I'm fine with that. So yeah, that's what keep me going. Like, meeting real people, and it's also why I stopped doing the automation engineering gigs pretty much, because that would be me doing the work, and in these days I get much more fulfillment out of helping others to do the work that I used to do, and making them a little bit better and more experienced. So that's why I do the talks and the workshops and the training courses and everything. That's again really fulfilling and really fun to do as well. And to get paid to do that is a big bonus.
Yes. I mean, I can see the happiness on your face apparently while you're talking about it. It's so evident.
It is no, but and it's talking about this that made me realize, well, huh, I've actually got a pretty good. Well, I don't know if my parents would call it a job, but I have a pretty good job.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
You do.
no, I
So
do
let
absolutely.
me let me ask you one thing, because I'm pretty sure, given, and you understand this, right? Culturally and many other ways, our countries would be very different. And some of the people who are listening right now might be getting envious, right? And it doesn't have to be necessarily freelancing or taking up workshops for them, like they giving the workshops. But what advice would you have for testers and people who are listening to you right now? If at all there is any that's coming to your head.
So basically, and again, this took me a very long time to figure out, but it's do what makes you happy, and this sounds so cheesy. Do what makes you happy. Um, because well, we all also need to make money and
Yeah.
pay the bills and live up to our and commit to our responsibilities
Right.
always. But um, what I and so the biggest advice probably is more of a disclaimer. If it's what works for me doesn't necessarily work for you. It doesn't mean that the way I live my life and I do my work is the best fit for you. Um, but if you want to get somewhere and do something, just try and do it. If you want to break into public speaking, just submit a talk for the local meetup. Hit up a meetup organizers are always looking for speakers. If you're not sure, if you're um, hesitant about doing stuff, you say, well, maybe I'm not good enough. reach out to someone who's got the experience, because most, if not all, people I've met who are experienced are more than willing to help you.
Right.
Absolutely. And yes, that is an offer to everybody who's watching this. If you say, well, I want to, can you help me because I want to run a workshop, or I want to do a bit of public speaking, or but I don't really know how, or is this proposal or whatever, is that good enough? Um, I'm more than happy to have a chat and see. Um, I'm not saying um, it's guaranteed to work, but it is. I'm more than happy to share what I've learned over the last couple of years and my experience and my thoughts.
That's so sweet of you. That's so sweet of you to even offer that help, you know. Sometimes we might be willing to offer help, but it's upon the other person also to take that up. So,
It is so, and it's also because I've had help from so many others in the last 17 years. I love the concept of paying it forward. So, um, and the nice thing, it is always come. I'm not sure if I believe in karma, but it's. I do believe in good things come to people who do good things for other people.
so it is karma.
So
It's just another way.
I know that is karma, but yes, no,
It
maybe I do
is.
believe in it, but no, it and um, if there's anything that the last couple of years have shown me is that it. I don't know how these things work, but they do, and it's very hard to put my finger on why did I get the opportunity, or why did someone reach out to me who
Right.
I haven't spoken to in like 10 years. Um, but it works. It absolutely works. So I'm more than happy to try and help others to, if they want to, if they feel that that's something that they're interested in, if that's something that they want to do. Um, I'm more than happy to talk to them and see if there's something I can do for them. Absolutely.
I'm going to just end this podcast on that beautiful note because I don't have anything good to speak after that, really. This was so beautiful that you said. I really appreciate all the time that you gave me today, and really all the insights, all the experiences that you shared with us. I hope it will help somebody. If I feel personally that if it helps one person, it's like so much.
Absolutely. Again, it doesn't. I'm. I stopped trying to help everybody because, well, everybody's context is different and everybody's
Right.
needs are different and everybody's dreams and wishes are different and where they want to get to. Um, and in all, we can all individually we can only do so much, but I'm more than happy to try and do as best as I can. But thank you too, Shruti, for having me. It's people like you who invite other people for conversations. That plays a big part in these things too. It's we do this all together. Really, it's not just one individual. Never.
Thank you. You're too kind to say that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having a chat with you. We should do this again.
We should.
Absolutely.